Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Tyria then. We're now on episode 33, and this show is brought to you by me, Aaron, and my co host, Miko. Welcome to the show, Miko.
Hello. That was
I'm
weird.
on. Was that weird?
No, mine was weird. I did the little lilty high pitched hello at the end. Sorry everyone.
Hello.
Sorry if I made your ears squeal.
Yeah, we're sorry for being weird, guys. We're recording this on Easter, so it's a holiday. Um, so
That's right.
so that means this is different. No, it doesn't. Um, Welcome everybody to the show. We this episode we found ourselves stranded in the middle of Korna after the disaster that was the Consulate Docks mission last episode.
Yes.
Miko, why don't you recap for the audience what led up to that so far in the Nightfall plot?
So, last episode we had to go and fight. We finally, after doing a bajillion side quests, decided to stick to the plot. Last episode, and we went and pissed off the Estani Council with a little help from Cormier, or a lot of help from Cormier, decided to wage war on Korna to call Varish out. And we decided against all advice that we were going to storm her base. And that went well until it didn't, because Varish also decided to declare to the world that she's a follower of Abaddon. And she brought in demonic beasts, and particularly one that decided to nom on Cormier's head.
He kind of looks like a big Triceratops.
Yeah.
Like a dino demon.
A dino demon, yes. And so while she was not, it was nomming on Cormier's head, we scattered to the four winds. Some of our friends were captured, including Koss. And we landed in Korna. And our task now is to reconvene, because the Sun Spears are scattered all over in enemy territory. We're being hunted, and things are not looking good.
And that's the name of our first primary quest, is Hunted, with an exclamation mark.
Oh, look at that. I didn't even mean to do that, but that was fortuitous.
It was. And everybody keeps making a big deal about how Koss was captured. When they say this, they're always like, Koss and Rogus were both captured. I'm like, no one cares about Rogus.
Nobody cares about Rogus, although Rogus is actually pretty cool. He showed himself to be worthy of having gone out to the fields to go get him and save him from his
what did he do that was cool?
As a farmer. He gave us.
Oh, he's the sentry trap guy. Yeah,
and everybody's like, "Wow, he's so technologically advanced. We need to keep him." And I was like, "Apparently, we need to keep him."
Yeah, those. So I went into that mission thinking those traps weren't a big deal, and it turns out they do a lot of damage. So I did have to play along with Rogus. So yeah, I guess I take back what I said about Rogus.
Yeah.
So
okay guy.
Yeah, no, he's all right. After we get done with the Consulate Docks mission, we spawn in an outpost called Yolon Haven, right on the tippy tip of Korna, like on the coast. And it's like kind of a canyon nook is how I would describe it.
Yeah, that's a good way to describe it.
Kind of a hidden canyon little oasis. I thought it was kind of weird because we're like, as Sun Spears in Korna, who have just been like declared war on this country and are now stranded in enemy territory, we're like outlaws here, right? Like we're the enemy.
We are.
And in this outpost, there's not only Kornan like villagers, there's like Kornan nobles, like they're labeled Kornan noble, and they're just like, yeah, I guess I'm here with the Sun Spirit. I guess they're dissenters, maybe.
I don't know, but because we do find out later on that there are some Kornans who are essentially not so much allying with the Sun Spears, but definitely not wanting to hurt us. They're definitely helping us.
Yeah, and this episode is kind of I think I enjoyed the narrative focus of this episode. This episode is kind of learning about Korna, rebuilding a base of operations for the Sun Spears within Korna, and then the story kind of setting up the steps we're taking to continue to move forward despite being pretty much obliterated in our last conflict. And then we got some side stuff with Melonni that's relevant too, because she's like a friend of
Yeah.
ours apparently.
I mean, she's one of our heroes. So
Yeah,
yes.
I'm looking to replace her, honestly. I've already got a
Well, I
dervish.
mean, because you've already got yourself
Yeah, I've already
as a
got a
dervish.
dervish. So
Mhm.
Melani's not long for my party, honestly. But
Mhm.
I did do a quest that she was related to. Um, what do you think we should talk about first? Well, did you do any more like elite skill capping or anything like that since, or like regearing or anything since last episode?
Mm, no, I didn't. I didn't cap any new skills. I did go looking, but it wasn't. It wasn't to be, not yet. I did identify a couple of um elite skills that I want eventually, but they're not coming until later in the game. So, yeah, not yet.
Since last episode, I trekked all the way over. Like, I went way out of the way for this one skill because I've been talking
Hmm.
about it the whole time, which is Vow of Strength.
That's right.
You
Yes.
you got to head way to the east to like the edge of Korna in a zone called Barbarous Shore, which is like
Okay.
three
Yeah.
zones over from Yolan Haven.
Yeah.
So I made that trek and I killed some Corsair. Maybe it was Cornin, but I think it was Corsair. One of those two, right? He was some dude with a scythe. And now I'm the proud owner of Vow of Strength.
Very nice.
Yeah, it does. It's like 100 blades, but for dervishes. So whenever
Right.
I attack with a scythe, I do like extra damage.
Yeah.
And then
It's a good skill.
yeah, and it's an Earth Prayers skill. So there's like on the build on the PVX wiki, there's some like synergies you can do with Staggering Force and Sand Shards.
Mm-hmm.
I do have Staggering Force. It's very nice with this build. That skill, like you hit it and it does damage, and then you remove it, and it's a flash enchantment, right? So it has a remove effect, and
Mm-hmm.
it gives cracked armor, so that's nice. So I'm using that
Mm-hmm.
now. And
Okay.
Sand Shards you cannot get until you get to the Realm of Torment, so I won't be getting that for a long time.
Right.
But yeah, for now my Vow of Strength build is it's working out really well. It's working out almost too well. If enemies are grouped, it's like a weapon of mass destruction.
It is very good, as I said. And I think I mean, I know that I have a couple of our strength builds saved, and I know that it was a thing even back when I was playing this game daily, regularly, and not just for podcasting purposes. So yeah, no, it's a good skill.
Yeah,
So enjoy it.
yeah,
That's what I have to say.
yeah, I'm very happy with it. I'm just yeah. Have you ever heard the quote, "I am become death, destroyer of
Mm-hmm.
worlds"? Yeah, that's how I
Mm-hmm.
feel using Vow of Strength against a mob of 6 Cornin bowmen who are just all standing on the same like tile.
You're like, I'm sorry, die.
Yeah, like 1 or 2 hits and all of them. It's great. I love it.
Yeah.
So I'm having a grand old time with that. I did cap a skill because I did that. You can just go to Yolan Haven and buy the Signet of Capture from the skill guy there.
Yeah.
So that's what I did to get Vow of Strength, and then it turns out there is also a skill capping quest
Yes.
to like teach new players how to use a Signet of Capture if they don't know what they're doing. So
Mm-hmm.
I did that, and I capped like a random avatar skill to get that
Oh,
done.
good.
Yeah. So that's kind of where I'm at. All my heroes got elite skills. Most, if not all, of my heroes are level 20 now. I'm level
Yep.
20. We're looking
Yep.
strong. How's your party levels looking?
Everybody's 20. It's great. We're living the 20 life.
Yeah, no, it's good. All my party does not have max weapons yet. I'm keeping an eye
Yeah,
out
same.
for like
Same.
cheap ways to get max weapons because there is a weapon vendor at Ronjock, and all the max weapons cost like 5 platinum, and they are not worth 5 platinum.
Yeah, and we have unlocked an area now where there is a weaponsmith, and what I forgot about this area until I walked in. It was like, oh, I'll go get my heroes some weapons. It's considered an instance, not an outpost, and therefore it does not have access to the Zunlai chest. And so that means having to run back out to go get my materials and money and run back in. So I've got to do some planning ahead of time.
Do the ones from that guy also cost 5 platinum?
I don't know, because when I saw that there was no Zunlai chest, I was like, screw you, I'll be back later.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Um, So first we should probably talk about the hunted primary quest. This is the quest that we get from a guy named Sunspear Modiki in Yolan Haven, where we spawn after the mission. Because
funny that we have a Sunspear who's telling us what to do in an enemy territory.
Well, it is kind of funny because eventually we end up as the de facto leader of the Sunspears. But for now, we're doing what we're told.
That's right.
And even when we're the leader, since we're playing an MMORPG, we still do what we're told.
This is very true.
So what did Modiki have say to you to have you go do?
Modiki told us that Koss has been captured and we have to go and find information. Isn't this him? No, we've got to talk to Dejaren. Yeah, Zudash Dejaren, and find a place for the Sunspears to hide. That's what he told us. Yeah,
and he does mention that Koss, Rogus, and Cormyr are MIA. He doesn't. But Modiki doesn't know what's happened to them. I don't know if you remember who Atok is, but he's dead. He was kind of just like hanging around with Rogus and like the crew, right? He's just dead now. Low key, do you know Modiki mentions that Nerashi and Melonni are out scouting. And I think he mentions that Melonni is like broken from this ordeal as well. Somebody mentions this at some point in this episode that Melonni is like it's having like war terror. But one thing,
a little bit of PTSD.
Yeah, Lonai's not doing too good. But one thing I wanted to point out about Nerashi in particular, Nerashi's been a character that we've like been hanging out with in Istan and stuff.
She's murderous.
Nerashi, so she does kill that guy in this episode, yeah. Nerashi does so much heavy lifting in this episode in terms of the plot.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Nerashi is the main character in this episode.
Pretty much. She's like our NPCs tell us our scout, Nerashi, because apparently we only have one. And Nerashi's done all the things.
And she is working overtime to get us information.
She needs a pay raise when we get back to Istan.
Yeah, pretty much every quest begins with, so Nerashi found out X, Y, and Z, and we need you to go follow up.
Yeah.
But for now, we got to go over to a local merchant, also in Yolan Haven, named Zudash Dejaren. And apparently he has no love for Korna, and he might be able to help us out.
He has no love for Sunspears either. He seems to be suspicious of them.
This is a very disenfranchised individual. Very ripe for radicalization. I think we're about to take advantage of this. He says he has no estate and no son, and that now all he has to worry about is his daughter. It's like kind of all he has left in the world.
Yep.
We get the impression that he doesn't care for the Cornins, but we don't really know the details. And then he basically says, but my current predicament is all the Sunspear's fault.
Right.
He doesn't care for us.
Nope.
He says, Sunspears bring nothing but misfortune to all those around them. And then he calls us poor, idealistic fools.
Yeah. Seems like he doesn't have much love for Cormyr either, I would think. Yeah, as an extension.
Cormyr seems to be somebody who pisses a lot of people off and who a lot of people have a low opinion of.
Yep.
And Aaron the Third himself is like kind of sus about Cormyr as well. So, I'm side-eyeing her in these meetings when she's talking trash to Elder Sewell and just like slapping General Morgan across the face and stuff.
Pretty much.
I'm giving her the side eye. But she's MIA right now, and Zudash is basically what we ask him for is basically anything he can help us with. And he points us in the direction of a guy named Elder Jonah in a place called Ronjok.
Yes.
And we've heard about Ronjok.
We have?
Yeah.
Okay, tell me, because I don't remember. Other than that, we went there a bajillion times to play through for this episode.
Melonni is from Ronjok.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so
she's the one who caused all of the water issues, and that's why Morgan was shit-talking her.
Yeah, Morgan was trashing her hard in our trial quest. Still probably one of my favorite quests we've done.
Yes.
Across like all 3 games. because she got kicked out of Ronjok because she did like an eco terror, and now the river doesn't work so good.
I know, it's really funny, or ironic, I should say.
Because we do a whole quest about fixing the river with Melonni this episode.
Yeah.
So how did you do getting over to Ronjok to talk to Elder Jonah?
It was okay. I ran into Cornins, obviously. There's lots of bugs in that area, if I remember correctly. This has been a while since I've played through this quest, it feels like, but there was a lot of work this week that has obliterated my memories. Yeah, so no, it was fine, other than having to jaunt out there.
A lot of moving from point A to point B in this episode.
Yeah.
And I was like, have you ever once, while we've been playing Nightfall, read the dialogue for the shrine people that give you the buffs to get Sunspear points?
I think I started to, and then I just started to. What is you have a buff? Great, thanks.
Yeah, the guys who give you the Cornin soldier buff, they're usually a priest of Grenth. All the ones I've talked to have been.
Okay.
And they basically mentioned that all the souls of all living things that die get sent to Grenth and Grenth's domains.
Right.
But then they mentioned, but when Cornin soldiers die, they don't go to Grenth. They go somewhere else.
Do they go to Balthazar?
I imagine they go to Abaddon, right?
Oh, maybe, I don't know.
But that's what he says. He doesn't like give a firm ruling. He's just like, they go somewhere else, and it's not right, man. So go fucking kill those guys. So just interesting dialogue from the wandering priests at the Cornin shrines.
Because if you're reading between the lines correctly, then that would be a good little piece of world building foreshadowing.
Yes.
Because if Varish is usurping the rights of the gods, by somehow funneling souls to Abaddon, then yeah, no wonder it's another reason why the gods would be pissed.
Yeah, and the people who still follow the five gods in Korna would obviously be against this Abaddonian. Abaddonian, is that?
Abaddonian. It's a word now.
Yeah, Abaddonian regime. That's what I'm going to call it from now on. The Abaddonian regime. Mm-hmm. And there is in fact a character a little down the road in the next outpost we unlock. Her name is, I didn't write her name down. Oh, Scout Kara. Did you talk to Scout Kara at any point?
I did not. No.
She kind of just gives you a little background information on Korna and like the geopolitical state of Korna at the moment. It seems Korna is in the midst of like a nationalist revolution. Maybe not revolution, but like a nationalism boom, right? With Varish at the helm. And they're heavily militarized. And all the villages are like expected to produce a food quota that goes to the military. So the villagers like aren't super happy with this arrangement, right?
No.
And then
I can imagine.
Yeah, and worship of the five gods is being suppressed throughout Korna because obviously we're in the midst of the Abaddonian regime. And so she kind of gives some context as to why there are these wandering priests at the god shrines. Because they still support the five gods, and that's why they give you bounties to like kill Kornin soldiers and stuff, because they're kind of part of the resistance.
And why they're wandering priests.
Yep, because they can't establish themselves anywhere, so they have to sit out in the wilderness at these little god shrines and ask passersby to please murder Kornin soldiers. It's great. I really like that NPC. It gives some really good context to like everything that's going on around you.
It's a bit part of me thinks that this sounds a bit White Mantle-ish.
Yeah.
And what would have happened if they had set up the similar bounty system or blessing system in Prophecies? Just makes me wonder.
Yeah, the White Mantle, I think we're a little further along in their hold on the country than Varish and her new religion is. The White Mantle also were doing this like feigned tolerance thing where they would they would let you worship the five gods, right? But then they'd steal you in the night and murder you on the bloodstone.
Murder you. Exactly, yeah.
They were doing like this fake tolerance thing, whereas Varishasa is doing a more overt like suppression of religion of the five gods.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It's good stuff. It's good world building. I like it a lot.
It is, yeah.
Did you notice that? So when you get to Ronjok, it's like it's like a perimeter. That's not the right word. It's a village that is surrounded by like a wall, kind of like a half crescent, up
Yeah.
against some cliffs.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, it's sort of it's sort of that old idea of how villages and towns had perimeter walls that would where they were built basically for protection, right?
Yeah, it's good. It's got some tents, like it's got some
Mm-hmm.
little areas where you'd have like merchants and shopkeepers and stuff. It's got a lot of NPCs. It's a really well fleshed out little village.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of just speaks to the continued improving of the production quality from game to game. Um, and I really
Yeah.
like just going all through because all throughout Korna the scenery is largely the same, right? It's very
Yes.
savanna, like African savanna, like
Yeah,
central,
it is.
yeah,
Yeah.
like Central Africa type of thing. It's got those cool
Mm-hmm.
trees that look like they're like flat against the horizon. You know,
Yeah.
I love those
Yeah.
trees. Those are cool.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
Lots of cool like rocky desert landscape. It's nice. I quite like Korna. You can kind of get tired of it visually though after a while.
Yeah,
Um,
it's a lot of similar it's the similar hues, like the orangey, beigey, browny, those kind of hues. So it kind of
it blends
if
together a
you
little.
it does, yeah. And if you've lived in the desert for a while or any stretch, it starts you get a little bit over it. Although there are some kind of nice fertile areas as well, wherever there's water.
Yeah, some little
There's not.
oasis type
Mm-hmm.
areas. Yeah, they're cool.
Yeah, yeah. So I
And
thought that was well done.
yeah, no, the scenery is great. Like they're going for this African thing, and you can really tell they
Mm-hmm.
studied the landscapes they were trying to reproduce because
Yes,
they all look
well
really
done
good.
environmental. Yeah, the environmental artist did well. Did
Yeah.
quite well.
And as you walk into this village, Elder Jonah is having a conversation with a dude named, like, just like a public conversation with a guy named Herdsman Zakanu.
Yeah.
What are they talking
And
about?
they are talking about sending essentially protection for the herdsmen because they're having a hard time defending their cattle. They're responsible for providing meat, and apparently the Cornins keep taking more and more.
Yep.
And so the herdsman wants the elder to give them better protection, and he's like, "Can't, man. Sorry, we've got to like we have we can't afford to put more people out on there."
Yeah, and
On
at the
this.
end of this conversation, Zakanu basically says, like, dude, something in that garrison is hungrier than any army of soldiers could
Hungrier
be.
than, yeah, exactly. So they're requiring more meat than they can provide.
Yeah. And he'll actually have a quest about that where we can go do something
Mm-hmm.
about it. But we can't get it yet. I think you have to do the hunted quest before you can actually grab these quests because they were not available for me at this point.
Yes, you have to complete hunted first.
Yeah, and then you have to. So it's kind of weird that this conversation plays out because when you do hunted and then you come back out of the portal, the same
They're having the
conversation
same
just plays again.
conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They should probably just save it for after you've done the quest, but you know,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. It doesn't matter
Yeah.
that much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's kind of some context for some stuff we're going to end up doing. And then we have a chit chat with Elder Jonah, who is kind of the village elder.
Yes.
And did you notice the typo?
Did I notice the type? No, I don't think I did.
He calls Zudash Zuda, Zudah.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, I like double checked it because I was like, am I crazy? Has his name been Zuda the whole 20 years I've been playing this game?
Yeah, nope.
No, it's a typo in Elder Jonah's dialogue blurb. But he's basically going to hook us up with a base.
Yes. But he also thinks that Zudash has fobbed us off on him.
Oh yeah, no, Zudash is 100% dumped us off on him.
Yeah. But he's going to hook us up with a base, and the base is conveniently located behind the village.
Yeah, like 10 steps away. He's like, there's a sick cave with fresh water and stuff. All you have to do is kill some level 16 bugs.
Because the water needs to be purified. Right now, it's not so fresh.
Yeah, there's been bugs in there. There's been God knows what kind of Abaddonic curses going on. So
yeah.
Yeah, he says it like used to be a temple, but ever since it got overrun with beasts, the water's not so good. It's dangerous in there. So if we can clear it out, we get to keep it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of funny that there's this cave system, and then later on, you meet NPCs that are like, I didn't even know this was here.
Yes. Yeah. There's a lot of NPCs in the cave after you clear it out. There's a lot of NPCs in the command post, which is like the adjacent kind of story building instance, for want of a better term. Yes. Kind of a transitionary instance, a hub, I guess is how you describe it.
Yes.
With a hub with none of the advantages of a traditional town city outpost.
Well, I mean, it's yes.
As you described before.
Skill traders, it's got skill traders. It's got merchants that you can actually get stuff from. It's got profession trainers. It's got all the things, and no access to your bank.
I was gonna say it's got all the things that you don't really care about, and none of the things that you do care about when going to the city, like access to storage and trade chat, right? Yeah. It's got none of that going on. It's a personalized instance, so you won't run into any other characters there. But before we can go to the command post, we got to clear this cave out and get the Sunspear Sanctuary outpost on our map for us to be able to go to. How did this go for you, clearing out this cave?
Once I got in there, I was like, oh yeah, I remember this quest. And you basically just follow your quest markers for the little like 5 or 6 spots that you've got to clear out of bugs. And I remember it being more difficult. It was pretty easy.
Yeah, I think I used to have trouble with this back in the day when maybe, power creep wasn't so bad. And I maybe had 3 heroes and a bunch of henchmen, right?
Right.
Because they each group has like a monk, like a queen, like a beetle queen. There's new higher level insect mobs in this area in Korna. It's the same insects we've been seeing, but now we have a queen who's like a big, round monk boss.
Yeah.
They're not all bosses, of course, but yeah, they've got a default monk with every group now. I obliterated them with Vow of Strength.
I was gonna say, yeah, you probably didn't have much of a problem. Yeah, I ran into the same boss that I had killed after my playthrough.
I ran into him too, Isha.
Isha, yeah. It was just, the rule now, whereas before, which we've talked about before, the rule now with Nightfall is you want to kind of focus down your bosses first, leave the trash for later. Whereas in Prophecies, you could just ignore the bosses.
Yeah, because the bosses actually do damage in factions in Nightfall and Eye of the North because they have the double damage buff. Prophecies bosses do not have the double damage buff.
Yeah.
I tend to prioritize monks still, unless I know for a fact they are not strong healers, right?
Yeah. Then
I don't care. But I get those Velt Beetle Queens out of the way.
Yeah.
Because they're a nightmare. And then once we cleanse all of these bugs, we get a little bit of a cutscene.
We do.
And it's kind of like an anime, like put your fists in and say hooray moment where everyone's got a line.
Yeah.
Melonni kind of like prays to Melandru, and then we all take turns saying stuff like a time to reap and a time to sow, right? Shit like that.
Yeah. It will be a place where we can rest, a place where we can plan.
Yeah, of course, Dunkoro's like, a place to plan.
Yeah, and Talcora takes a dip in the pool. And I'm like, it's not a hot spring, honey.
Did she walk into the pool?
She was sitting in it.
I did not notice that. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
We're gonna get more from Dunkoro this episode, and his entire personality is still one-dimensionally based around planning guy.
Yeah.
Everything he says is related to planning.
Yeah, when your plan doesn't come to fruition, you make a new plan, and that's basically his whole logic tree.
Yep. Yeah. When your plan doesn't work, our new plan is to improvise, right?
Right.
Everything in Dunkoro's mind operates in the context of a plan. It's he's a strange guy. But
he likes to plan.
Yes, he likes to plan. You you can't blame the man. He likes to be prepared, even when he's not prepared.
Right.
And then the cutscene swaps over to General Morgan and a new guy. I don't think we've seen this guy yet.
Yeah, General
Bale.
Bale, that's his name.
We killed Kyatt. This guy is Bale.
That's right, Bale. Yes.
And they're
Bale
discussing...
is like the new baddie.
Yeah.
The baddie.
Yeah, because you can immediately tell that Morgan is more kind of reasonable than Bale.
Yes.
Because they're talking back and forth about hunting down the Sun Spears. And Bale is very go get him, right? Whereas Morgan is more cautious. He's like, hey, we probably shouldn't underestimate the Sun Spears. They're very resourceful. They're known to be difficult. And Bale is like, bro, we got this.
Like, we wiped the floor with them at Gandara. We got this.
Yeah, Bale is like, they ain't shit, bro.
And we have the numbers, basically.
Yep. So we can already see Morgan's resolve and his faith in Korna starting to erode a little bit. He's maybe not so confident as he used to be. Because even though they won at Gandara, we got close. We
did. Yeah. If Varish hadn't come in to essentially drop her big Omnami mic drop on us, we probably could have taken that mission.
Yeah, and I think that scared Morgan a little bit.
Yep.
And I also think Morgan maybe wasn't quite... Because Varish was into this shit with General Kyatt. I don't think Morgan was fully aware of how deep...
I have a feeling Morgan doesn't know anything.
Yeah, so when we're at Gandara and he sees Varish literally summon freaky ass demons to like save them from certain defeat, he's like, I don't know anymore.
Yeah, because I think he was an advisor or a follower of her father.
He's old guard.
He's old guard. She's definitely like, the young upstart heir. Yep. Who's got her own ideas about how to rule the country, and
she's Kim Jong-un as opposed to Kim Jong-il.
yeah, that's a good analogy.
Maybe I'll cut that one out. I don't know. We'll see.
That's okay. I was gonna go for some sort of Star Wars reference, but my brain wasn't making the name associations.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
But yeah, because there's something in that as well that lines up. But anyway, I digress.
Yeah, so they have kind of a back and forth about how easy versus how not easy it'll be to hunt down the rest of the Sun Spears. And then we spawn in our new base outpost, the Sun Spear Sanctuary, and Lonai has a quest reward for us.
She does. She's like, good on you. Now it's time to get to work.
By the way, you're the leader of the Sun Spears now.
By the way, we're a leader now. We need a leader, and hey, I think it should be you.
Yep.
And now we have to go and find Koss, because Nerashi, our great scout, has found out where he is. So just follow her directions and go and free him.
Without Nerashi, the entire plot of this game could not occur.
Yeah, especially right now.
Yeah, Nerashi is vital to the success of our player character in the Nightfall story. It's very funny. Yeah. And that brings us to a quest called The Great Escape.
Yes.
And we got to go do some rescuing.
Yeah.
We're the rescuers.
Unfortunately, unlike the movie, Koss can't get himself out. We have to go and get him out. So we have to go, and we run into... Does Nerashi even come with us? I turned around and I thought I saw her following, but then I couldn't see that she was even necessary.
Yeah, so we got this quest based on Nerashi's intel, and then we go out into Arkjok Ward, which is one of the explorable areas.
She's out there, and we have to talk to her.
Yeah, and she's like, hey, this garrison is like serious shit. But if we take out the surrounding enemies, it should be fine. And she says, if you take out the targets I suggest, we'll be good to go.
Right.
And what that means is just follow the quest markers rather than charging into the garrison, like, head on.
Yeah. And I think I looked behind me while I was running away from her, and I thought she was following. So I couldn't... So that's why I was like, did you help? Because she didn't show up on my party At least I don't think she did as an ally.
Yeah, I completely tuned out. I didn't even think to look for her.
I was like, right, go kill things. Got it.
Yeah, I was like, I got this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sitting there with Vow of Strength newly on my skill bar, like, let me at him. So yeah, I don't know if she came with me or not, but yeah, we go take out some Cornin groups around this garrison that Koss is being held at, and then we're free and clear to kind of run in and finish the job and kill some dude named, I had his name somewhere here.
Yeah, he's another Bay. Yeah. Commander Kube.
Kube, yeah, Kubeh. Yes.
That's right. We thought we were done with the Bays, but no, they're back.
No, there's many a Bay in the Nightfall storyline. And we take out the enemies and we enter the garrison and we find Koss having did you find Koss having a dance party with the other prisoners?
Yes, and I thought he started dancing once we eliminated the Cornins. But I was a little focused on making sure that they didn't hurt my party and that we took them out. And I didn't actually look over to see if he was already dancing.
I think he, because I remember running in towards the enemy and seeing him dancing already, but I could be misremembering it. But I think he is dancing, watching us have a fight to the death.
Yeah. He's like, yeah.
Yeah.
And always arrived.
Yeah, and the other Sun Spears are dancing with him, too.
Yes.
He's a very inspiring man, Koss.
Yes, he is. Yeah.
Yeah, they're up on this, little dais, the kind of a dais in, a fantasy universe where you would have, a prisoner-slave auction, right? That's the kind of energy in this garrison.
Right, and there's, they're not, in a cage or anything like that. It's pretty much out in the open, So, I guess from Koss's dialogue, you would think that they would probably have some chains on them or something, but there's nothing that's really seems to be fettering them to the ground.
It's interesting. It's a thing in MMOs generally that they're very limited in model animations that they can do outside of skill usages. I think I like this way, just ignoring it. That's fine. Yeah. I think it's more bizarre in Guild Wars 2, for example, how they just put an ankle with a ball and chain over their head to symbolize that they're prisoners.
Yes, that's very true.
I'm like, that's a weird way to handle that.
I'd forgotten about that, but yes, that's a good visual. I just have memories about that now.
Yeah, this made me think of that. And I was wondering when they were making Guild Wars 2 if they were like, we got a bunch of prisoner scenes where people don't look like prisoners. How do we fix that? Let's just put a picture over their head.
I mean, it works.
Yeah, they're doing what they can with the resources they have available.
Yeah.
The engine might have just not been designed to animate prisoners with manacles on. I don't know.
Right.
I went for Kube right away and killed him immediately.
So did I. Yeah, he does not take much to go down.
Yeah, and then Koss says that he was, of course, about to chew through his manacles and do it himself.
Yeah, and I was like, bruh, you're dancing. I don't think you were having a bad time.
Yeah, I think that's what made me think about the shackles, because Koss brings them up. He's like, I was about to chew through these shackles. And I'm like, bro, you were dancing the disco.
Yeah.
What shackles? So that's kind of what made my brain go down that rabbit hole of why don't prisoners have shackles on in MMOs? But it really is irrelevant. After we kill Kube and free Koss, he's like, "Hey, bro, we're gonna loot the garrison. You want in on this?" Koss is so fucking funny.
He is.
He's great.
He's such a badass.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that he's just like, all right, you can go and tell our people that I'm back, and I'm going to go and do something real quick.
Yeah, he's like, we're going to loot the garrison, maybe have a little party, maybe get a little drunk here, and then tomorrow I'm going to go chit-chat with my Corsair friend, who's going to hook us up with a ship, then I'll come meet up with you. Yeah. So Koss has a lot more going on than just being a Sunspear.
I just feel like Koss is a pimp. He is out there getting some, and that's all I got to say about it. He's just a pimp.
I mean, there is a Koss love triangle coming up in the story, and let's just put that out there right now.
Yeah.
ArenaNet really likes their romance.
Oh yeah, they sure do.
Because it's like, it's difficult to do it well in an MMO, and I don't know if they've ever really hit the mark, but man, they put a lot of like little romances in the game.
Effort. A for effort.
Yes, A for effort. And they're fun, you know? They're fun.
They are fun. Mm-hmm.
And then we can tag back to Sunspear Sanctuary, where Melonni basically says that Koss does give Melonni gives us the name of Koss's Corsair friend. Her name is Margaret the Sly.
Yes.
And apparently Koss has brokered a deal with her for a boat to take the escaped Sunspears back to Istan from Cornell.
Yes. And for the longest time, I thought her name was Magrid. But no, it's Margaret.
It is Margaret, 2 R's, Margrid. And I actually double-checked that while I was playing the game this episode. Because I've heard people say both, and I've never really cared, because she's a ranger hero and I don't fucking care, right? But I was just curious this episode. I was like, for real this time, which one is it? It is Margaret.
Yeah. No, it's Margaret. And so when I saw it written out, and I was like, all this time. It's like you, when you're saying... you'd been mispronouncing like consulate docs or whatever.
Dagmar Stonepate. That blew my mind.
Yes. I was just like, it's not Magrid. Okay. Magrid like Hagrid. No.
I said Magrid for a long time. Yeah. So yeah, her name is Margaret. And she'll be coming up later. But for now, what we need to do is Melonni basically says, hey, there's word of more captured Sunspears. Spoiler alert, word from no one other than Nerashi.
Right.
And we need to get to rescuing, essentially.
Yes.
And I think this is where, at least me, I don't know about you, but for me, this is where I pivoted from main plot to side questing.
Yeah, I had to because I was not rank 7. No, I was not a general yet.
Sunspear General. Yep, we got to get to Sunspear General in order to be allowed to be the leader of the Sunspears.
That is correct. And so we had to go rank up, and so I needed some side quests to help get me there.
Yeah, and we tried to pick some like thematic side quests that went with our goals for the story. Because our goals for the story are to build the Sunspears a base of operations in Corna and to rescue captured Sunspears to get them ready for this boat. A quest chain that lines up with that objective is the building the base quest chain from Melonni and from Dunkoro. And then we also helped out Ronjok a little bit because they're like right outside and they hooked us up, right? We give back a little.
Yep. Yes.
Let's talk about the Ronjok quests. Because I really... So there's kind of a not interesting one and then kind of a fun one. So that let's rewind back to that conversation between Herdsman Zakanu and Elder Jonah, because those are the quests we're going to be doing now. Basically, Cornan soldiers are like using the cows for target practice and taking them under the pretense of we need more food, right?
Right.
This is a lot more meat than the village's quota. And is very negatively impacting the livestock farmers.
Right. Yeah, they're wondering how they're going to be able to feed their children if all of the garrison is taking everything that they have. Yes.
And so what Herdsman Zakonu asks us to do is to escort the herd over to a place called Nundu Bay, where they're further away from the garrison, so the soldiers won't have them in their sights to like attack and take them.
Yes.
Good Lord, these cattle move slowly.
Oh my gosh. Did you lose any?
I lost 1, yeah.
I lost 4.
There's a couple patrols that patrol past and intersect with your quest path.
And so I was like sticking with the cows, and me thinking that this is an escort mission. I should stick with the cows. For whatever reason, I didn't think that the cows would take damage. Stupid Miko. So then once I realized, oh crap, I'm losing some cows. They're starting to lose health. I need to go ahead of the cows, which is good because I can clear a path for them.
Yeah, I was scared that there would be like, if I left the cows, that there'd be like Mandragore pop-ups that were like quest only or something, right? So I was worried about that, but yeah, I ended up being able to kill the groups quickly enough to where I only lost 1, but I, for some reason, wasn't worried about them taking damage either. And then I noticed in my quest log that it said 9 out of 10 cows remain, and I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, uh-oh, I'm gonna fail this quest at this rate.
Yeah. So you just move extremely slowly across like maybe half the map to the entrance to an actual outpost, apparently, that's called Nundu Bay.
Yes.
And you can just leave the cows outside.
Yep.
And,
now, did you go and unlock the outpost afterwards?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I like having places from which I can travel.
Same, exactly.
Fast traveling,
Yeah.
hell yeah. I unlocked a bunch of outposts on my way over to Barbarous Shore to get that skill also.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
Yeah, they'll come up later, so you're not going to miss them, but I like that I can just fast travel to them now.
Yep.
Throughout these areas that we're in, including, I think we're doing this quest in Marga Coast, right?
Marga Coast, yes.
We come across a lot of Natuka birds.
Yes.
Which are like big ostrich-like guys. And crested Natuka birds, which I guess are these plus crest.
Right.
And then rampaging Natukas, which are not birds.
No, they're bulls.
I want to say they're like the Guild Wars equivalent of water buffalo.
Yeah, sure. They've got horns.
Yeah, they kind of look like giant boars? Cows?
Yeah,
I didn't get a good look
like
at them,
cows.
honestly. I just killed them.
You know what cracked me up? Because those cows that we were just talking about in that quest, they move so slow, but they call them cows, but really they were bulls because they had horns.
Ah, semantics. Yes.
Yes.
Well, not semantics so much as accurate descriptors.
Yeah, I was like, why are we escorting cows that have horns that could clearly take care of themselves if you just let them stampede?
Right, 10 cows? 10 cows is serious business. How much does a cow weigh?
A lot.
A shitload, right? Like, I don't know that a platoon of soldiers would be able to take out stampede. 10 cows.
They could probably gore a couple of soldiers and also trample them.
Exactly, yeah. It's got to take like a lot of arrows to take down a cow.
Yeah.
But we have to escort them, unfortunately. Did you run into any tusked howlers?
Yes.
I love these guys. They're great.
Basically.
They're giant silverback gorillas with tusks.
Yes. Yeah, they are mean.
Yeah, they look pretty nasty. They're warriors. Yeah. They're like not dangerous. No. But
they look scarier than they actually are.
Yeah, I just like what they look like. I think the monster design in Nightfall is kind of a step up. Although in factions we had some pretty cool monsters in like the Jade Sea with like the sea monsters. And the wardens and like the juggernauts and stuff. So there's some cool monsters in factions in Nightfall. Both of those are a big step up from Prophecies, I think. Yeah. In terms of creature design. And then apart from those, it's kind of just like higher level insects and higher level mandragores and higher level plants. There's coup scale instead of scale now, which are just spoiler, they're just higher level scale.
They're just higher level scale, yeah.
And then when I ran over to Barbarous Shore to get that skill, I ran into cracked mesas and stone shard crags, which I don't think you've come across yet.
No, not yet.
They're big, dude. They're cool. They're like really big. I mean, I'm sure you've seen them playing the game in the past.
Yeah, aren't they like elementalists?
Yeah, they're big. They're big, huge earth elementalists. The cracked mesas are like these. It's hard to describe, honestly. I'll put pictures of them up. They look super cool though. Just really, really good enemy design in Nightfall. Big stone guys, basically. Yeah, I like them a lot.
Yeah, they're cool.
So yeah, you do that cheeky little cow herding quest. Elder Jonah has the Signet of Capture quest, and then he has an additional Melonni quest. Yes. Did you just do the Signet of Capture quest when you went and got that Paragon Elite skill?
No, I picked up Cap Signet from the skill trader in Yolan Haven. Yeah. And went and grabbed it.
Did you cap a new skill for the Signet of Capture quest?
Not yet. But I have it. I have it ready to go. But
so one thing that I kind of like that just popped into my mind when I got the Signet of Capture quest, because at this point I already have my elite skill, so I'm like, what the hell am I going to do? And then I remember, you know what? There is a Dervish and Paragon boss in pretty much every single map in Nightfall.
Yeah.
I'll just Google the one that's in this map and go kill him really quick.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. So I got like an Avatar of Melandru or something out of that.
That's not a bad one. That's a pretty good avatar.
Yeah, the avatar, the acolyte of Melandru was hanging out in like the central garrison on Marga Coast, which is actually swarming with enemies and was pretty hard. Dunkoro had to do some unyielding resurrection.
Oh dear.
Yeah, it got a little hairy there for a second. But the kind of the star of the show here in Marga Coast, at least if you're doing quests out of Ronjok, is this Melonni's Meditations quest. What's going on with this?
So this one, considering the fact that Melonni's the one who went and did eco-terrorism to mess up the river, they need Melonni to go and figure out what is happening with the river.
It's kind of her responsibility at this point.
Yes, and so the river's not right, and they're not exactly sure why. So they need her to go and to these different points along the river to find out what is actually essentially tainting the water.
Yeah, and this is along like the dried riverbed, right? Because I don't think the river's even flowing right now.
No.
Yeah, it's a pretty desolate landscape. The Marga Coast sets itself apart. It's a little more red than like it's kind of Mars-like compared to the
That's
more
a good
beige.
Comparison.
Yeah, compared to the more beige of the rest of Korna. And I think that's supposed to highlight like how dry and arid it is, where it should be maybe a lot more.
Yeah, and I
lush.
kind of wondered if the fact that they've got problems is probably, in a way, Melonni's fault. Since she went and did. So this is like a way for her to atone for the damage that she did, to kind of make peace with the land and help to find them an answer on how to help heal it, maybe.
Yeah, and we also don't have all the information. So like maybe what Melonni did, because all we hear is that she like fucked with the river, right?
Right.
We don't really know what she did. Maybe she was trying to get the river to flow better through her village, but maybe she screwed up, right? Maybe she was just trying to hit the Korna government where it hurts. I don't know. Yeah. But what Morgan did mention is that it screwed up the irrigation. So this could be on her. I think ultimately it's a little bit of column A and a little of column B. Yeah. Basically because of what Melonni is able to find out from her meditations in this quest.
Yeah.
So it's like Miko said, we got apparently Melonni is like a devout servant of Melandru. Now I actually have her using Avatar of Grenth because PVX Wiki said that's better.
It's a better one, yeah.
Yeah, does a lot of damage.
But I've got her using Avatar of Melandru because
roleplay.
But it's actually not a bad avatar.
All the avatar skills are good. So
they're very good. So.
Yeah, I don't think it matters that much. And we roll up to these spots, and while she communes with nature, we get attacked by enemies that are the skin of mandragores. Like that's the model they have in the game and like the skill set, but they are called corrupted nature.
Yeah.
And Melonni is like, I'm going to ask Melandru why the Elon River has receded. Kill anything that attacks me, please. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's not hard.
And they're generally well, there's a couple that do that are elementalists, a couple that are warriors, but I seem to remember more the necromancer ones.
They have what's that something gaze skill, ravenous gaze.
Ravenous gaze.
It does a lot of armor ignoring damage.
Yeah.
The Stoneflesh mandragores, the elementalist guys, the big ones.
Yes.
They're the bane of my existence because they are earth elementalists and they have high earth resistance, which I use staggering force to do earth damage, so that's a problem. Right. And then they also use, I think, obsidian flesh to just have absurd amounts of armor.
Stoneflesh aura.
Stoneflesh aura, that's the one. And you can see it in my footage. I just do 0 damage to these guys.
Yeah.
My other heroes do plenty of damage, so it's fine. But my character literally hits zeros against these dudes.
Yeah.
And she goes through 3 spots. She mentions that the Elon is in much pain. She says the land is greatly tormented, and then we show up at this like dead tree.
Yeah.
And she mentions that this tree always used to thrive and that it's bizarre that it's dead.
Yeah, because it is she calls it an ancient tree, and it is very, very large, and
It's kind of cool.
it's scary. Yeah, it's they did really well in making it so dead, the model, because it is quite eerie.
Yeah, it's kind of a vibe.
Yeah, because all around it, the trees are fine, but this one tree is just sticks.
Indicating that this tree may be of some significance to Melandro and to the spirit of the land, sort of.
Yeah.
Kind of a druidic type of thing.
Yes.
And once we defend her against the enemies here, she basically says, "All right, I've got the answer." And then she basically just says, "Yeah, there's a great darkness in the Elon, and all those corrupted nature guys that were attacking us. That's because of that." And I thought that was a weird resolution to the quest because I thought that's information that we knew going in.
Yeah.
And I thought we were trying to figure out what the nature of this darkness is, not whether it exists or not. So I kind of found this quest to kind of have gone nowhere.
Well, in a sense, I could see how we as the players would know because we've just been through Gandara, and we know that Varish is up to no good. But I don't think that the Cornan people necessarily have all of the answers yet, that Varish is up to no good, and that she's actually causing a lot of harm to the land.
Right.
To the nation.
And maybe this village is not just going to take our word for it, right? Maybe it's showing is better than telling, right? And if we have Melonni go do this, they're likely to trust her word. If she's actually done the thing, instead of just Aaron the Third showing up and being like, "Yeah, dude, there's demons. It's fucked up out there."
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, I can definitely get into it from that angle. That makes sense. And we basically return to Elder Jonah and tell him that, and he's like, "Oh, that sounds bad."
Yeah.
And then there's no follow-up quest.
No. Yeah. I was kind of hoping that there would be more.
There's going to be later, so there's more Melonni later.
Yes.
But that's all we get for now.
Yeah, this is a bit of a set piece, I think, for what comes later.
Yeah, and it's definitely set up. I think it's a very valuable quest to do if you care about like getting the whole story. There is a lady in Ronjok named Dreamer Hala. Did you talk to her?
Oh, I did not, no.
Yeah, her name is Dreamer Hala, and she says that she is the dreamer of Ronjok. That's a quote. That's what she said.
Okay.
Like, so that's her title. Some kind of like a seer, but someone who interprets dreams, basically.
Yeah.
And I didn't copy down her dialogue, but her dialogue's really well written. She sounds very mysticky without sounding cringy. Okay. She's cool. She's going to come up later with this whole type of deal, if I remember correctly. So keep an eye out for her.
Yeah, there is another NPC who has another, I think, Melonni related quest.
Is it the guy standing way off to the side?
Yeah, Chudo.
Did you do this? I didn't do it.
No, I did not do it because I was like saving it for later. But what cracked me up is that he's obviously, or at least what the game is implying, is that he's got a thing for Melonni, because when you go and talk to Elder Jonah for the Melonni's Meditations quest we were just talking about, if you try to decline the quest, it tells you, send that chump Chuno to protect Melonni. He'd do anything for her. So I thought that was funny.
Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah, see, ArenaNet, they really like their crushes and their romance arcs and their love triangles. ArenaNet loves these plot elements. So that'll be fun to dive into. Probably we might do that next episode. We've already got some plans brewing for next episode, so we can squeeze that in. And after helping Ronjok, I kind of wandered over to help Lonai and Dunkoro build up the command posts.
Yeah, that's what I did as well.
Yeah. So we get this quest, the command post from Lonai. And this quest is basically direction for you to do a quest chain for Dunkoro, which is the building the base quest chain.
Yes.
And the first quest is to rescue some Sun Spears.
Yeah, unfortunately, you can't just accept them all. Donkoro gives them to you one at a time.
Yeah.
Which is kind of annoying because you kept having to run back to Lonai for a reward and then having to go back to Donkoro, but whatever.
And every
It kind of
single one of
works.
these quests starts with, guess what Nerashi found out?
Nerashi has found, yeah.
He's found some Sunspear prisoners.
She's found some Sunspear.
Yeah, Nerashi is a lady.
She is, yes. She's a badass. Yeah, so she's found some prisoners, and we have to go and liberate them.
Yeah, and Dunkuro makes this big deal out of like, okay, now when we're attacking a larger group, we need to be strategic and wait for them to split off. And I roll up on them, and it's just like one standard group of Cornan soldiers.
Yeah, it wasn't like, yeah.
I just obliterate them like it's easy. So thanks, Dunkuro, but no thanks.
Yeah, no, I guess this is either trying to encourage you to party up with another human being, or to encourage you to use the flag system and to split your forces, to teach you that, practice that mechanic. It will come in handy later.
And it will. When the enemies start getting properly dangerous, this is something we're going to need. Like in the Desolation, things get really nasty. In Vavi, things get pretty hard.
But right now, not so much.
I'm chilling right now. Like, everything's easy at the moment. Yeah.
So Dunkoro is trying to teach us how to plan our strategy. But we're like, yeah, bro, this one is easy. We got this.
Yeah, and one thing to mention is when you spawn into the command post instance, if you have Dunkoro or Koss or Melonni in your party, they are NPCs in the command post, and your hero in your party just becomes Sunspear Monk or Sunspear Warrior.
Yeah, or Dervish, yeah. I thought that was funny.
Yeah, because they're characters we actually have to talk to get quests and stuff. We did this quest for Dunkoro, this quest chain. We have not done anything for Koss yet. Dunkoro has some other quests, and there may be some other NPCs standing around in there with quests that we might check out more of next episode.
I think later on they'll unlock some more, or we will unlock some more. That's what I have a vague memory about.
Yeah, I might like stop by here every now and then to see if there's anything more going on, because that could be fun. And I don't remember if we have to escort these guys back or not, or if they just run off.
I don't think we have to escort these guys back.
There's a few quests where we do.
Yes, the other two I think do. We have to.
Yeah.
But this one, for whatever reason, I was able to zone or just click back to the Sunspear Sanctuary, and it was fine.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, Lonai has all the quest rewards, and then we have to go get the new quest from Dunkoro. The next one is building a base, interrogation. And this quest is a little more interesting.
Yep. We have to go and interrogate a Cornan soldier that Nerashi has captured, and she is holding until we get there to interrogate him, to find out what is that they know about the Sunspears, and about our movements, and where our people are, and also where they are. His group is.
Yes, and this guy's name is Ketur. And he has like a whole story about how Nerashi caught him too. He was like, I broke off from the group to loot a wagon. And then Nerashi was like hiding in the brambles and fucked my ass up.
And
it's very funny.
Terrified of her. Like terrified of Nerashi. He's like, no man, just don't let her kill me.
Yeah, I think Nerashi describes him as blubbering.
Yes.
Which is very funny.
He's basically wet himself.
Yes. And we have to interrogate him. There's a few things we can ask him, like you mentioned. Yeah. We can ask him about prisoners, ultimately, and he says that there are prisoners that are being held in the garrisons, but that the important prisoners are held somewhere else.
Yes.
Called Koss Prison.
Yes.
So that's intel that we've acquired. We know this now. It is. I don't think we follow up on it on this episode, but I think we do soon.
Later on, yep.
And then we got to decide whether or not we want to kill this guy.
What did you do?
I said kill him.
I told her to, like, take him away far and then let him go. But I have a feeling that she's going to kill him along the way.
Did she say anything that indicated she'd rather kill him?
No, she was just like, okay. But the guy was still acting like, no, man, she's going to kill me. And I was like, yeah, she probably will.
Yeah. I was like role playing. I was like, you know what, I think my character would kill this guy. But we don't kill him. We
dervish.
order Nerashi to take
That's
him,
right.
like, to take him
Take him out.
and shoot him in the back of the head. Like,
Right, pretty much.
yeah, it's pretty bleak. Like, it's super dark. And Nerashi's, like, happy to do this for me. She's like, I'll make it quick.
Yeah. Yeah.
And my dialogue for choosing this option is, like, when I click on it, is he's useless to us now.
Yeah.
That's wild. This is a dark quest conclusion for a Guild Wars game.
My option, because I chose to let him go, was to have him blindfolded first, and then to set him free. By the time he makes it to his unit, will be long gone.
And he'll probably have been gored by a Natuka bird at that point.
Or the Natuka, rampaging Natuka, yeah.
They are rampaging, after all.
They are, yes.
Yes. Yeah, so after I commit that literal war crime of murdering a cooperative POW,
right.
We need to kill the rest of his patrol and liberate some sympathetic Cornin peasants that they're holding prisoner.
Yeah, and the patrol is not that far away. Like, they are quite visible in the distance.
I would describe them as a stone's throw away.
Yes, quite literally. And the fact that they didn't see us interrogating their guy is quite funny.
We were hiding behind a tree. It's fine.
Yeah, we're not even like behind the tree. We're like in front of the tree, and they're like to the side.
In full view, yeah.
In full view, yes.
And they've captured some Cornin peasants who assisted the Sunspears, but it was before they knew they were Sunspears. So, yeah. But the Cornin soldiers don't give a shit, right? They just can't wait to do what roaming soldiers do,
right?
And wreak havoc upon these poor peasants. And so we murder these soldiers, and then two of the peasants are thankful and like down to clown, and then the last one is like
thanks. You made us outlaws.
The Eeyore of the group. Yeah.
Thanks for ruining my life.
Yeah, like these soldiers, because the other two are like, those soldiers were literally talking about how painfully they could make our deaths, right? Mm-hmm. And then this last guy is like, yeah, thanks for nothing. You ruined my life. Now I'm an outlaw. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, you could be dead.
Pretty much, yeah.
I wanted to leave this guy behind, but we do not get any option to do this. We just escort them back to the sanctuary. And Melonni says that it was good that we did that because they're like skilled artisans.
Yeah, and the guy who's complaining, he's like a rune trader.
Yeah, he's a rune trader, so those get added as services in the command post, I'm pretty sure, right?
Yeah, and before I escorted them back, I interacted with each one of them. The other two were still thanking us, but the complaining guy was like, hey, I've got some runes for sale. You want some? And I was like,
He's coming around, right?
Yeah.
It's not life in the command post.
But then,
so
but he was still bitching the whole time once we got him back.
Yeah, he's a real negative Nancy. So he's a rune trader, and then the other two are a die trader and a beast tamer, which is a guy you can like swap out your pets with.
Yes.
Kind of an unnecessary NPC now that we have the Zacian Menagerie in the game, I think.
Right.
But it was a thing once. It's cool. Who cares?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then we have one final base building quest, the meeting.
Yes, and this one is interesting because we have to go and talk to an NPC called Karendu, and he's got two of his sons with him, and he's a nobleman.
Yeah, and he is a dissenter. He does not care for the Abydonian regime.
No, he does not. And so the thinking here is that if we get Karendu on our side, the other nobles will fall in line, get behind us, and it'll be that much easier to essentially foment a revolt against Varish.
Yeah, maybe. This essentially gains the Sunspears an ally within the wealthy elite and possibly even the government of Korna. Yes. This is a big deal. And this contact has of course been made for us by Nerashi.
Of course.
So we go and meet this guy and his two sons. He's very influential. He's going to be a big help for us. And we meet him in the Sunward Marches, which is just
a stone's throw away.
Savannah explorable area number 14,263 in Korna.
Yeah.
And he basically says that he believes Varish will be the end of Korna if she's left to her own devices. She's kind of like a mad dictator in this guy's eyes.
Right. Yes.
And he's down to pretty much do anything we can help with to disrupt Varish Asa.
Yes. And his two sons are kind of funny because while you're still talking to Korendu, a Kornan patrol comes along and approaches your group. Now, I don't know about you, but I've got Elias in my party, and he's a minion master. Mm-hmm. And while they were still non-hostile, the meat shield ran over, like, they made a beeline to the Kornans, and I was like, brother, like, where are you going? And they just were on them, and as soon as they turned hostile, the meat shield destroyed them.
Just the minions just killed them all by themselves?
Oh, pretty much, yeah. That's like, incredible. My people were still, like, running out there. And the meat shield was just like, yeah, no, we got this.
That flesh golem's scary. He's got a big scythe on his hand.
Yeah. But what cracked me up is that the AI was like ahead of the game engine there for a second. I was like, oh, well, okay.
Do you have your Elias? Do you have him set on aggressive?
I think I thought I had him on guard, but I might have to check.
I might be on aggressive. I wonder if you have Elias on aggressive, if the minions are also aggressive.
Maybe, yeah.
Which would be incredible. Because that I don't think they go hostile right away. I think you have a little dialogue and then they go hostile.
Yes.
But yeah, we basically get caught at this meeting by a Kornan patrol, and they're Kornan soldiers. They're so easy to kill.
Yeah.
And we kill them.
Yeah, Korendu and then his sons will help you fight, and the sons are kind of funny because one of them thinks that they did a really great thing by helping us to fight, and the other one is like, "Shut up! Why don't you just let the real professionals handle it, you jerk?"
Yeah, one of them's a bit of a Koss character.
Yeah,
thinks
so
he's
go back to reading your books.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we escort all three of them back to the command post, and they're going to join us.
Yeah.
So that's a big W for the Sun Spears.
Yep.
And that completes the quest chain, and then we could go to Melonni and turn in the command post, like the overarching quest, and get just like extra XP and Sun Spear points.
Yep.
And at this point, do you find yourself as a level 7 Sun Spear?
Oh, yes. Yes, handily. I think I became a Sun Spear 7 or general after the Melonni and the cow quest.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And now now that we're rank 7, we can go ahead and continue with the main plot, which would be the quest, and a hero shall lead them, which I think we get from Melonni in the Sun Spear Sanctuary.
Yes.
So we are essentially now the leader of the Sun Spears, now that we're general. So I think we have to go talk to Koss in the command post to kind of get the next steps, because he's this whole orchestrator of the get the Sun Spears on the boat plan.
Right.
And I thought it was hilarious that Koss describes himself as, quote, the deadliest wit this side of Vabi. Because I'm inclined to disagree.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Koss says that while he was imprisoned, he basically overheard that more Sun Spears are being held near Venta Cemetery. I don't know why I struggle with that word. If we want a word lesson update, like we seem to have every episode, I always thought cemetery was spelled Cemetary. It is not.
It is a common misspelling.
Yeah. So I learned something about a word, as I usually do every episode of this fucking show. Have to keep that bit going. Fill runtime. And then we're gonna group up and rescue the Sun Spears that we need to rescue. Apparently, this is the largest group of Sun Spears that we have to rescue. With all the rescuing we've done this episode, I think we've liberated more Sun Spears than we had as allies in the Consulate Docks mission.
I believe you are correct. Yes.
I don't know how that works, but let's go.
I don't know. Yeah.
And then we have to get over to this Venta Cemetery outpost.
Yeah.
How did this go? I kind of just ran there.
Yeah, you kind of run there. You have Koss tell you, hey, be careful of those Kornan spotters. Nerashi told me to take them out first.
They see you outside of aggro range. Yeah.
Yes, because they are the Legolas of the Cornins, and they'll call more archers to support them.
They have elf eyes.
They have elf eyes, apparently.
It's funny that he tells us to take out the spotters first, because the spotters run over to you before you've aggroed. You're almost always going to take them out first.
Yeah.
Because they engage you first.
I know. And I was like, well, Koss said that, because Nerashi said, and so I'll take them out first. And I was like, I probably didn't even need to do that. Thanks, Koss.
Yeah, and Cornins just aren't. If you're in normal mode, Cornins just aren't that dangerous. So I kind of just find where they're grouped up the most and explode them with Vow of Strength.
Right. Right.
And we make our way towards this outpost, and part of this quest is rescuing like little stray sun spears we find along the way.
And every time we do, they're like, "It's Koss," and I was like, "What about me? I'm leading this."
Right.
Okay.
I'm literally general rank. Like,
right.
Show me some respect. Yeah, and we kind of just pick them like we'd be picking flowers along the way.
Pretty much, yes.
And we've got this like trail of stray sun spears behind us when we roll up to Venta Cemetery. And we find this guy he's a sun spear, and his name is Commander Suha. So he's one rank below us, commander,
he's a commander,
not general. And he says that Rogus is alive. And then I have parentheses, who cares, written next to that.
But, he's like, hey, it's good. And he's like, found a way to disarm the sentry traps. And we're like, okay.
And I'm just like, what? I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
But we're about to find out. And then a cutscene ensues.
Yeah.
And Koss tries to give a speech.
Koss tries to give a speech to tell him, hey, we found a way to get you home, and the troops are like, hooray, but we're gonna have to like go through enemy territory, and we might lose you guys if you don't stick to us. And they're like, oh no. And he's like, maybe you should do the talking.
Yeah, they like groan comically at his attempt to give an inspiring really speech. And then our character kind of lays it out in a more confident way, I guess.
Yes.
And people keep going on about these. Our basic plan is just to like move fast, hit hard, don't stay in one place. Caught. Yeah. And then inside the mission outpost, Rogus is our mission guy. We need to talk to enter, and I think Koss is required for this mission. He is, yeah. Yeah, and we did at the end of last episode. We mentioned that Koss is no longer available as a hero once he's captured. After the Hunted quest, or after the greatest... He's back. The Great Escape? Yeah, the Great Escape quest. The Great Escape. He's back on our roster to add. Yep. And Rogus basically makes a huge deal about how dangerous these sentry traps are. Mm-hmm. And he, once we enter the mission, he gives us this skill to disarm sentry traps. Mm-hmm. And the objective of this mission is essentially to get the rescued Sun Spears onto this boat where Margaret the Sly is waiting for us at the ass other end of the entire Cornin army. Yeah, it's right outside of Nundu Bay. And I was like, Nundu Bay, I've got that unlocked. Can I just like click there and just go? No, we have to do a very long roundabout mission. And did you do the bonus? I did too. It took longer because of it. Oh boy, this bonus takes a long time. Yeah, it was funny because before we'd played through, Aaron said to me in Discord, I think that this is the Riverside province of Nightfall. And I was like, I think you're right. And boy, howdy, is it ever. It's the same mission, basically. It really is. It's at least the same bonus. You got to take out an ass fuckload of guard towers. Yes, and 12 of them. Caught. Yeah, not alert. Although this time there's an alert meter, whereas I think in Prophecies there was not. There was not. There was just guys that were up on the tower that you literally couldn't access, and if you were melee, you just got told to shove it by the game. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. The game design has improved since Prophecies. Let's just put it that way. Yeah. And yeah, these are not difficult, but they are time consuming. Yes. Because there's 12 of them. 12. And
Yes.
Rogus does give us a little skill to deal with the sentry traps.
Yep.
There's not necessarily a sentry trap at every guard tower, but
No.
there is enough of the time to where it's annoying because they do like
Yes.
100 damage
Yeah.
in
Yeah,
like a
it can take you
pulse.
out, especially if you're melee.
Yeah.
So I was trying to like get rid of them so that, or neutralize them so that my front line would not have to deal with getting hurt from enemies and also this thing.
And they're usually near enemies, and the sentry trap disabling skill is easily interrupted, which means if you get hit by an attack while you're using it, you get interrupted. So you kind of got to kill enemies quickly so you can disable this trap so you don't take as much damage from it as it's going to do.
Yeah. Well, and you're melee as well, so it sucks. In that case, because you are more likely to be interrupted.
Yes. No, I'm getting focused quite a bit.
Yeah. So I was, because I'm ranged. As soon as the meter comes up, if you hit the button, and can channel it and not get interrupted, it will trigger and go green for you. So you have successfully disarmed the trap.
Now, I kind of glanced at the tooltip for this skill, but I was like in combat half the time, so I didn't read it super. Does it have a range indicator?
I don't know. I didn't.
I didn't see
meant
one.
to check, and I never did because I was like, well, I'm going to just try to see if I'm in range. And sure enough, it did, so I didn't even bother reading the skill tooltip.
I couldn't tell what the range on it was, so I kept running right up to the sentry traps to use it. I don't know if that's overkill or not.
Right.
But yeah, very annoying bonus. Other than the bonus, though, there's not really much to the mission. The mission is just go from point A to point B.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at the wiki map of the mission, you can just wall hug your way through this and barely fight anything if you ignore the bonus.
Yeah.
So if you actually want like things to do, like do the bonus, honestly.
Yeah. And the bonus itself too, because of where the guard towers or guard posts are located, some of them take you in closer to the what is it called?
Like the central garrison. They've got like
the garrison. Yes, the garrison in the middle, and they have siege.
Yeah, they'll start sieging you if you get too close.
And if you, it was really annoying. I actually got taken out because all of my sun spears died because I got too close on one of them, and I was like, crap, I came in the wrong direction.
Yeah, no, so you had to restart.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because there's a certain threshold where if you get too close to this garrison, it doesn't just, like, the siege doesn't just hurt a little bit, it kills you very fast if you get too close.
Oh yeah, it will knock you down, it will take your health down about 75%, and pretty much the next hit is going to wipe you.
Yeah, and there's a couple of the sentry towers that are right on the line of, like, how close you can get, and you have to be very careful.
Yeah.
What I did for those ones was I just pulled with my bow because I was really scared because that's happened to me before doing this mission.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I had I was trying to be careful, and apparently I came in on like guard tower or guard post number 6 or 7, and it was one of those that are quite close, and I just cut in front rather than going behind, and so we lost.
Yeah, so because you were probably following the wiki route, right?
I did, but I didn't. I missed one turn.
Yeah.
And so, yep.
Yeah,
that's what ended up happening.
I remembered the consequences of getting too close to this garrison, so I followed the wiki route religiously. Because there's a couple of spots on the wiki route where you're like, I could just shortcut. I don't have to go that way.
Yeah.
And I was like,
I bet you do have to go that way.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, follow the wiki.
Yeah, so this mission can get a little hairy if you get too close, but I was able to get through it. And we meet Margaret at a boat dock. She's like standing there waiting for us.
Yes, we get our cutscene after this mission ends, or the end of the mission.
More good voice acting.
Yeah, she's really quite good. And Koss is trying to be all pimp daddy. I'm gonna, charm you. And he's clearly, he clearly knows her, and it seems like he's known her for a while. And asks her if she's got his boat. His boat. Got my boat? And she's like, yeah, I got my money.
She's all business.
So, Yeah, no, she's not having it. She's like,
Koss's
yeah,
wiles do not work on this woman.
No, she clearly knows him way too well.
Yes.
And she's like, you are charming, but I can't spend charming. Where's my money?
She's basically like, cut the shit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
your sweet talk is not currency.
Yeah, and Koss's voice acting is fun as usual, and Margaret's voice acting is good. So good stuff here. And she basically, our character is basically wary about trusting a Corsair, but Koss is like, don't worry, bro, I got this.
Yeah.
And so we get the Sun Spears on her ship, and they get to escape to Istan. And then we get another General Bale cutscene.
Yeah.
And
he is laying it into the Cornan captain, who apparently was in charge of the garrison, and says, you let them escape. And he's like, but there's only a few of them.
He's like, they were out of range of my siege cannons. What do you want me to do?
Yeah. And he's clear, like, the captain is like, it's fine. We captured most of them. And he's like, no, you don't understand. It's bad. And so Bale basically tells him to increase patrols, and what's worse is to burn the villages that helped the Sun Spears. That's bad.
Yeah.
And then he also wants to let Varish also know that, we've escaped.
He also wants to let Varish know one more thing.
Yes, tell her to send me the hunger.
The hunger. Remember that? Yeah, the hunger.
We don't know who the hunger is yet, but the hunger sounds like he's hungry, and now I'm wondering where all those cows have been disappearing to.
That's what I'm saying, yeah. I don't know if they're keeping the hunger at the garrison at Marga Koss. Probably not, because it sounds like it stays with Varish. Right. But God knows what demons are residing at what garrisons, right? Yeah. And what these things need to eat. Its name is the Hunger. So that's something to keep an eye on the horizon for, because it definitely sounds ominous. I did think it's funny that General Bale, he's punishing these guys, and they're like, but sir, we got most of them. And he's like, you don't understand. I told Morgan that this was going to be easy, and now I'm going to look stupid.
Right.
I like to think that all of this is framed in the context of General Bale wanting to appear more impressive than General Morgan.
Yeah.
And I was kind of actually thrown off by where we spawn after this mission.
Yeah, because we spawn back in Camadan.
Yeah, it throws us all the way back to Camadan, and there's
because we've boarded Margaret's ship, so she's our ride home.
And there's like a consulate clerk that has our next quest.
Yes, and so we have to go talk to the consulate dude, and he's like, "Oh, you're back, good."
Go see Elder Sewell for a scolding.
Yeah, go tell Elder School what's going on, or school what's going on, and yeah, that's our next quest, which I did not complete because that will be for next episode.
Yep, I left it there, so that's where we're going to be picking it up next episode. I quite enjoyed the gameplay this episode.
Yeah, it's quite good.
I think Korna is a really well-designed world space. It's got a lot going on, and I think the game communicates all of that really well with the quests and the main plot that it gives you to kind of dive into. Super good stuff. How did you feel about the overall play session?
Oh, it was really good. I thought it went well. Things that I had remembered being more difficult or not so much anymore. I will say, shout out to all of our commenters on our last episode. A couple of you were like, no, Miko, you need to go and like change your secondary profession. And in this, because I've been playing a lot of adrenaline skills, and my little Paragon chant is shitty at refreshing my adrenaline. When I've got a cycle going and there's like a lot of enemies. So I did mean to go and talk to the profession changer guys. I forgot. But then I was like, it's all right. I'll just play through Ventus Cemetery and then I'll go back. So I will. My intention is to go and find that profession changer and switch to warrior, even though it will lose me antidote segment.
That's the thing, is we both ended up going warrior for second profession here. And it's because Dervish and Paragon both utilize adrenaline heavily, but they don't have the kind of adrenaline buffs that warriors have.
Yeah.
So Warrior is a pretty popular choice for those two, for that reason.
Yep.
Because For Great Justice is goated as an adrenaline booster. So yeah, that's a great skill to go ahead and pick up. And then next episode, we're just going to be trucking on with the main plot and side questing around. We're going to try to employ main plot in every episode going forward and do piecemeal out the side quests a little more. That's just to kind of keep the momentum of the show going in a little bit more of a steady way, as opposed to doing all main plot and then just doing nothing but side quests the next episode. That is very fun, but it is also, it kind of throws off the pacing of the show. So we're going to try to incorporate things a little more evenly going forward.
That is our plan. We're following Dunkoro's advice.
Yes, no, we're planning. My boy Dunkoro. Shout out to my boy Dunkoro. We're planning out the show.
That's right.
So next episode we'll be picking it up there. Until then, Miko, where can people find you on the internet?
You may find me at Inky Sticks on various social media platforms.
And you can go ahead and follow Tyria now on everything possible, X, and what's that other one? Blue Sky. And Spotify, and Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. Go ahead and do all those. And then we're keeping an eye on the anniversary content. It's the Guild Wars 20th anniversary. A lot of it is just like go redo content, and then you can have a mini pet, which doesn't interest me all that much. But there are some cool drops that are like on. There's some new weapon mods that they introduced into the game. So maybe I'll keep my eye out for some drops. And then maybe we'll
birthday boost. You know, the speed boost ones, the cupcakes.
Yeah, and I had a birthday on my warrior actually on this account.
Nice.
Because we've been doing this for over a year.
Wow.
Got myself
I have to log into my other one.
Yeah, what mini did I think I got a Necrid Horseman. So just like a white year one. Cool. It's a white year one mini, but it looks cool. So yeah, kind of fun stuff there. And if anything interesting happens with the anniversary content, we'll let you guys know. So until next episode, we will talk to everybody later. See you later, guys.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye, everyone.